Good evening, and welcome to the Muskogee City Council meeting of November the 26th, 2018. If you would stand for the invocation by Councilmember Ivory Van, followed by the flag salute.
May we bow our heads, please. Our heavenly, most gracious Father, this evening, dear Lord, just thank you for all the wonderful blessings you've given us, oh dear Lord. And just thank you for our Councilman Reed to be back up here with us, and also spread your blessings up on his body, oh Heavenly Father. Heal him, oh Heavenly Father, with all your power. And also Donnie Wimley, Heavenly Father, one of our city employees. Put your hand of mercy and love upon him and heal his body, dear Lord, so that he can be back to City Hall with us. Amen. And Lord, just bless us through this holiday season, dear Lord. Keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger. And bless our citizens also, oh Heavenly Father. Just help us also to love each other during this season, oh Heavenly Father, and help the people that need help. For we ask all these blessings in your name for your sake. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn, Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Marlon Coleman. Jamie Stout.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Cale.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
Do we have a motion to?
I make a motion we excuse Mayor Coburn and Councilor Coleman.
I'll second. I'll third it.
All righty. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Well, we are here, and the first item is the consent agenda. I assume you all have had time to look it over, and is there anything that you need to move to the regular agenda?
Yes, I need to move item 4.
I need to move item 7.
Okay. Could we have a motion then to approve the consent agenda, leaving out 4 and 7?
Make a motion to approve consent agenda excluding item 4 and item 7.
Second. Third.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Cale.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
All right then. Item 4.
Consider approval of resolution number 2743, recognizing and declaring the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples' Day in the city of Muskogee, or take other necessary action.
Councilor Van.
Yes, last week we approved this Indigenous Day, and it's a great thing. And I also would like to thank all the speakers that spoke last week, and especially this little young lady named Rashad White from Bacone College. And I think she was absolutely a great speaker. And like I say, she represents other speakers which were young. Like I say, I'm not trying to take away from any other speakers there, but I just want to give an extra thank you for her because, like I say, she is a college student, and I could see young people active in things. And also tonight, I wanted to make sure that this day on the second Monday of October is called Indigenous Day. And I'd like to also thank the city attorney, Assistant City Attorney Matt Beast, for putting this resolution together. Because, like I said, it helped us a great deal. So I would like Mr. Beast to read it now, so that way the people in the audience and the people at home will know what we're doing in October, the second October, the second week in October.
Could I ask you first a question for clarification?
Yes, sir.
What day do you want us to refer this to as?
Indigenous Day. And, well, you know what I'm talking about. I can't pronounce it as well as,
I have a question. Was there something wrong with the way it was written, or the resolution wasn't right, or?
No, most of the other city councilors, like Tulsa and Okmulgee and the rest of them, it's called that. It's not called Native American Day. So Indigenous Day, what they explained to me, it brings all the people together. And so that's the reason.
That's what it was called. Did it not read that?
The original one that was presented was Native American Day.
Oh, okay. So we got to vote to change that. Okay. Just clarification. All right.
Thank you, Councilman. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, recognizing and declaring the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples' Day in the City of Muskogee. whereas the City of Muskogee recognizes that indigenous peoples have had an immeasurable impact on the state of Oklahoma and the City of Muskogee, and whereas the City of Muskogee desires to celebrate and honor the significant and rich cultural history of indigenous peoples, and whereas the City of Muskogee wants to ensure that the traditions, culture, and contributions of indigenous peoples are recognized for future generations, and whereas the City of Muskogee believes that working together with tribal nation leaders, schools, and other government entities will ensure that future generations of both Native and non-Native people will appreciate the rich and substantial contributions made by indigenous peoples to both our community and society as a whole. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, that the City of Muskogee hereby declares the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thank you so much, Attorney Beast. And thank you again for all your hard work on this. And like I say, the Native Americans are definitely appreciate this. And like I say, I want everybody up here to go because I've been the ones in Tulsa and participated in the parades and seen all the dancers and stuff. And it's really a nice, wonderful celebration because, like I said, this is the Native American country, Oklahoma. And like I said, the lady mentioned the other night about Muskogee, and stuff played a big part in this process. So thank the council and the mayor and all of y'all again for voting for this. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Deputy Mayor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes.
Patrick Hale?
Yes.
Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
The motion carries. Item 7.
Consider approval to refer the management agreement for operations between the Roxy Theater Community Trust and Oxford Productions Incorporated back to the trust for further reconsideration or take other necessary action.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Oxford Productions to do some clarification on their trust agreement.
Good evening. My name is Steve Money. I'm an attorney. I represent Oxford Productions. I just became
Could we
aware-
have your
I'm sorry.
address, please, sir?
430 Court Street here in Muskogee.
Thank you.
And Steve Money, M-O-N-E-Y. I just became aware of the situation today, and so I'm sure I don't know as much about this as the trust does or as all of you do. My understanding is that the trust entered into a contract with Oxford Productions for for 10 years, I believe, with monthly payments at whatever that amount is, X dollars per month. My understanding is that part of that contract has a termination clause that if the trust were to decide to terminate the contract, then they would have an obligation to pay 50% of the monthly rate for the balance of the contract. That's my understanding of the status quo at the moment. My further understanding is now the trust is coming back and saying, well, that termination clause is a debt that they can't approve and that the council must approve. And that's what brings Oxford Productions to the City Council meeting this evening. Excuse me, I'm a little raspy, been talking all day. So the point that Oxford Productions would like to make is this, is that the concept that severability clause is some sort of a debt we disagree with because it doesn't meet the definition, any definition by any accountant or any CPA as a debt. That's not a current obligation to do anything. It creates no obligation unless the trust itself decides to breach the agreement. In that case, there's a penalty clause. So payments are already being made under this contract. The penalty clause of this contract is not a current debt, and for that reason, we think the contract is valid as it is, approved by the trust. The trust was authorized by the city to enter into contracts and to spend money, and they've done those things. So now it appears that the trust is coming back asking for a second bite at the apple, and that's what we object to. And we would ask that the contract just be left as it is because it's valid as it is. That's our position.
Thank you. At this time, we'll just go ahead and move for a motion for approval to send the trust agreement back to the trust for consideration, and then we'll go from there.
I've got a question. Mr. Tucker, is that the way the city understands it and the position is with the city?
No, it isn't. And we've analyzed that and been in discussions with Oxford through their prior council prior to this. And we think a contingent liability is still an obligation. So our position is different.
Okay, so Councilmember Stout is suggesting that that is our position, and we're going to send it back for them to take a look at that.
Right. Well, and if the position of Oxford is that it's a valid contract, then it's not going to affect what the council does. It'll still go back to the trust.
Okay. Did you make a motion?
Yep.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
So basically, we're back where we were the other night when we voted,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
Okay.
If there's nothing further, roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes?
Patrick Kale?
Yes.
Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
And the motion carries. I understand none of our citizens have signed up to speak, so we will go to item 8.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. A, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Gregory Beaver, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. B, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 95, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. C, pursuant to Section 307C10, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session for the purpose of conferring on matters pertaining to economic development in the northeast quadrant of the city, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session, including possible approval of an economic development agreement.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we move into executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes.
Patrick Kale?
Yes.
Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
The motion carries. And if you would, please excuse us while we go into executive session. Welcome back. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bob Coburn, Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Marlon Coleman, Jamie Stout.
Here.
Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Kale.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
Mr. Tucker?
Item 8A, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, the City Council did convene an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Gregory Beaver. After being fully briefed on the status of that claim and negotiations towards settlement, I believe an appropriate motion would be to approve settlement of the workers' compensation claim of Gregory Beaver in the amount discussed in executive session.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Item 8B, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, the City Council did convene an executive session to discuss ongoing negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 95. After being briefed on a status of the negotiations, I believe no action is necessary at this time. Item 8C, pursuant to Section 307C10, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, the City Council did convene an executive session for the purpose of conferring on matters pertaining to economic development in the northeast quadrant of the city. After being briefed on the status of a potential economic development proposal, I think an appropriate motion would be to approve authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute an economic development agreement with Kurtz Realty, LLC, based upon the general terms and direction as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston,
Yes.
Patrick Kale,
Yes.
Wayne Johnson,
Yes.
Ivory Van,
Yes.
Derek Reed,
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
The motion carries. That's the end of our meeting, and good evening.